My Father above, teach me to know all the things that are right. Teach me to walk in the light. Teach me to walk in the light. Teach me to walk. Come, little child, and together we'll gather of His commandments, that we may return home to His presence, to live in His sight. Always, always to walk in the Father in heaven. We thank Thee this day for loving guidance to show us the way. Grateful we praise Thee with songs of delight. Gladly we'll walk in the light. Teach me to walk in the light. Teach me to walk in the light. Teach me to walk in the light.
Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Walk in Light event. My name's Sister Whitmer.
And I'm Sister Bear. We're so excited to be hosting this week's event with Darius and Rylee McFarland.
However, before we get started, and as always, let us know in the comments below where you are tuning in from.
Yes, and we're so excited for this event with Darius and Rylee, who are both D1 collegiate athletes competing in both football and softball.
I can't wait any longer. Let's get this event started with an opening musical number by Sister Stratford and opening prayer by Sister Lawler, both serving as missionaries in the Massachusetts Boston Mission, and we will go from there.
You left your room this morning. Did you think to pray in the name of Christ our Savior? Did you still find loving favor as a shield today? Oh, I'll pray and rest the weary. Prayer will change the night today. So when life is dark and dreary, don't forget to pray. When your heart was filled with anger, did you think to pray? Did you plead for grace, my brother, that you might forgive another who had crossed your way? Oh, I'll pray and rest the weary. Prayer will change the night today. So when life is dark and dreary, weary. Don't forget to pray. When some trials came upon you, did you think to pray? When your soul was full of sorrow, from the pit did you borrow at the gates of day? When you're lost with no direction, you need divine protection. All you have to do is pray. He'll be there to guide you. In fact, he'll walk beside you. All you have to do is pray. Oh, I'll pray and rest the weary. Prayer will change the night to day. So when life gets dark and dreary, don't forget to pray. So when life gets dark and dreary, don't forget to pray.
Our kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we are so very grateful for this day and for all of our many blessings. We're grateful for this opportunity that we have to watch the Walk in the Light devotional and to hear from Rylee and Darius McFarland. We ask that as we hear this devotional, we will be able to feel thy spirit and we'll be able to be inspired as to ways that we can walk in the light of Christ and follow him better. We love thee so very much, Heavenly Father, and we say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
That was so awesome. Thank you so much, sisters. Like we said before, these two are D1 collegiate athletes playing for Brigham Young University. They both signed as freshmen and juniors in high school. Rylee loved playing ball ever since she could pick up a bat, and Darius actually grew up playing all kinds of different sports.
Darius and Rylee are both studying exercise and wellness at BYU, and apart from their sports careers, they both love the outdoors. They were married in Idaho Falls Temple on December 27, 2019.
Darius and Rylee, take it away.
So, like they mentioned earlier, I play softball at BYU, and over the years that I've played, this is my 5th year here, we have gone to probably 50 different places to play, and just being to all those different places and seeing not only like Cougar fans, but seeing all these little girls that just look up to me and don't even know me, it just opens my eyes and helps me know that like I need to be the best example possible, just like Jesus Christ was the best example to us. And also being from a small town in Idaho, there's so many people that watch my every move, and it kind of gets annoying, but it just helps keep me in check and keep me in line and helps me try to be like Jesus in every way.
So just like Rylee mentioned, my first thing would be being at BYU, you get to travel so many cool places and meet so many people, and to know, like she said, people are looking up to you, people are looking to you. You know, for me, it's on the football field. For her, it's on the softball field, and off the field as well. People look to you, and like she said, it keeps you grounded. It makes you realize everything you do is noticed by people around you, people of all ages, all different backgrounds. Having this platform and knowing that you have the opportunity to impact people for the better no matter where you go. And I think even more so than going places all over the country, even all over the world, and playing sports, even right in your own locker room, you have the opportunity to impact people. We both play on very diverse teams, people from different backgrounds, different skin colors, different cultures, members of the church, members of different churches, and atheists even. One of my favorite quotes that I've heard, and I wasn't able to track down exactly who said it, is something along the lines of preach the gospel, use words if necessary. And I think that so close to home, you walk into the locker room each day knowing someone's looking to you, and you can be an example to somebody every day that you don't even know, and they might not ever tell you, but even so close to home, one of your teammates can look up to you so much, and you can impact them. And so literally having this platform anywhere you go, all the way across the country or a different part of the world, a little girl or a little boy might be looking up to you, or even in your own locker room, one of your teammates who may be struggling through something, or maybe going through a crisis of faith or going through a hard time. You have the opportunity to show them how you live your life, and you can be truly happy through adversity, and you can be truly happy no matter what happens, and your priorities are in line with the gospel and family and hard work and all those values that us as members of the church try to instill in people can truly come out, and people can see that without ever you even have to say anything. And I've had plenty of opportunities where I've had people ask me questions about the church, and I had no idea they were even interested at all. And I've had the opportunity to have great conversations, constructive conversations with my teammates and people I ran into at hotels and before the game, and everywhere I've been in the community. And it's a huge blessing to have that and know that, just like Rylee said, you have the opportunity to be an example, just like Jesus Christ was. No matter where he went, we know he was the ultimate example for everybody. And so to have the opportunity to be an example for somebody, to have a little bit of a taste of that, is extraordinary. And another thing I thought about was the Lord's timing. I've thought a lot about that ever since I was a little kid. There are trials you go through in sports, and there's injuries, there's losing games, and there's you meet certain people at certain times that have such an impact on you, whether it be for the good or whether it be to help you learn a certain lesson in your life. But like I talked about earlier, knowing that God's timing, and that everything that happens to you is for you to learn something. I've had multiple injuries in my time here, and Rylee's battled her fair share of injuries as well. And knowing that you can be happy through those times, like I mentioned earlier, is huge. And to always look for the positive is something that the gospel does for us. And I've been blessed to go through some of those hard times and to come out stronger on the other side, come out with a stronger faith, with a stronger belief in God's plan for me, and a stronger belief in why certain things happen. I came to BYU obviously expecting to, find a wife, and maybe there were some relationships in the past I've been in that didn't work out, and now I know why. I got to meet Rylee, and sometimes you get injured at a certain time in the season, and sometimes you have a coach maybe you don't like, but it's all to teach you something. It's all for a greater purpose. And sometimes we as humans struggle to see that, but to have faith and know that someone bigger than us, who knows more than us, is bringing stuff to pass in our life is very comforting, no matter what you're going through. And growing up as a kid, ever since I started playing basketball, at 3 or 4 years old, junior jazz, and I started playing football at 6 or 7 years old, tackle football. And I've been blessed with amazing coaches and amazing men and women in my life who have taught me the game, who have taught me to be the best athlete that I can be. But I think more importantly, it's they taught me not to be just a great athlete, but a great person. And I am also grateful that I've had people like that in my life that have been examples to me, that have been lights to me through certain things. And one of those is my dad. He's been a huge blessing to me, and he was the hardest on me. He made me cry like all the time in sports, but I know that he wanted the best for me. And I look up to my earthly father, and I look up to my heavenly father, and I love him because he brings things to pass, like I said earlier, to help us be the best we can be. And he knows so much more than we do. And I'm grateful that God places people and has placed people in my life throughout my life, and continues to do that to this very day. I meet people that I connect with and am able to impact, and that impact me so much. And I wish I was more outspoken to let them know that they impact me. But to know that people come in my life, even if just for a brief moment, they have a positive impact on me. And I'm grateful that people have been, worthy to follow that spirit, and to be prompted to maybe say hello to me, or do something nice for me, or even just the smallest things you can think of to impact me in a positive way. They were worthy to have that spirit. And I hope that I can continue to be worthy to be guided to people who are in need. And I'm grateful for this gospel. I'm grateful that everything I've talked about today has come to pass in my life, and the people I've met through sports and the way they've helped me grow up, on the field, on the court, but also as a person. I'm so blessed, and I hope to one day be able to be somebody like that. And I know Rylee does too. And we hope that we can continue to use our platform that we have for good, and impact people, whether they know who we are or not, but always look for opportunities to bring people to the light and help them continue on that path that we've walked and seen so much happiness from.
And I think that the biggest thing with that is listening to that still small voice, or the prompting to, just reach out, say hi to someone, buy someone's lunch. Like it could just be as simple as making eye contact and smiling at someone. Well, I guess not smiling right now because COVID and the masks, but just like doing the small things that you're prompted to do from the still small voice helps you be the light to other people, because you never really know what other people are going through. And I know there's so many people that have helped me that don't even know it, and they don't even realize that, you made my day by smiling at me, or Darius gives me a compliment and it just like changes my mood just like that. And like people just don't realize, what somebody else is going through. So I think in order to continue being the light, one of the goals I have is to listen to that voice, or look for people that look like they could use like a little pick me up or anything like that. I think that using that is very beneficial for us and being on the platform that we're on.
Yeah, and I think Rylee kind of touched on it earlier, but having the platform that we have is a big family wherever you go. And one of the beautiful things about the church that I love is no matter where you go, no matter where you're from, no matter who you are, you could be single, divorced, old, young, black, white, doesn't matter. It's for everybody. And all are welcome inside the Lord's church, the Lord's chapels. And no matter where we go, no matter where we travel to, seeking out those people who are members of the church, you instantly have a family, no matter where you are in the country, no matter where you are in the world. And even if you don't speak the language, Rylee's had experiences where she's gone to Mexico and she doesn't speak Spanish. But I love the comment she made to me after she went, that she still felt the spirit, even if she didn't understand a word of what they were saying. And I love that the church brings people together. And no matter where you go in the world, you have that instant family. You have those connections without even having met the people before.
And it's not even just with members of the church. There's certain people that you can just sense that they have a strong spirit and that they want to know about a church and that they're interested, but they're just waiting for that one person to just reach out to them. And I feel like, we can be anybody can be that person. You just have to listen to your heart.
Yeah. And I think another kind of less positive, I guess, lesson I've learned, which it is a positive, but while we as members of the church need to be open and need to be willing to listen to others more than anything, because some of the people that I've met of different faiths, whether they're Catholic, Presbyterian, whatever they believe in, Flying Spaghetti Monster, they have so much to teach me. Like, we have so much to teach each other. We have so much to learn from everybody. and it's amazing. It's amazing the things that, the principles that are true across all religions, all faiths. It's all the same. It's taught a little bit different, but the core principles are all there, and it's amazing to hear from different people. While I'm a big believer in having open conversation and learning from people of all faiths, or maybe they don't have any faith in anything. We do need to not be apologists for what we believe in. I think we need to be firm in stating our beliefs and stating what it is that we hold near and dear to our heart. And I've learned that a few different times, speaking with teammates and hearing them talk negatively about what I believe. I had a choice to make. And obviously it's a lot easier when there's a lot of people around who believe the same stuff as you. And we're very blessed to be here at BYU and be surrounded by people who are there with you and will stick up for you. But it's a little bit harder maybe when you're alone. Maybe you're an athlete at a different school, or maybe you're, maybe you're just far away from members of the church. There's not a lot around you. Maybe you're a missionary. Maybe you're on a service trip in another country. So many ways you can be alone. You're never alone. Spirit's always with you, but to be alone physically, and you have a choice to make. And I've seen that the opportunities come to me where I've had people talk negatively about the church, and I had a choice to make. Do I give in and let them say what they want, or do I stick up and speak out and let them know how I feel and let them know how important this is to me? And I made that choice. I made the choice to stand up and speak loudly and clearly about what I believed. And I felt so much better afterwards, knowing that I shared my testimony, and that's something no one can take away from me. And there was no question when the conversation was over what I believed.
And that's part of walking in the light, because sometimes the light, you're the only one in it, and you're the only one that believes what you believe, but you have to stand firm, and you have to hold to your values and hold to your standards and hold to your testimony. That's the biggest thing. Absolutely.
And I'm grateful to be surrounded by people who believe what I believe and who are so open-minded and willing to listen. And I think going off of the story I just shared would be, look out for those people. Look out for those people who are alone.
Sure.
Look out for those people who are in crisis. Look out for opportunities to back up somebody who's sticking up for what they believe in. And be firm, be loud. Don't yell, but be loud, be outspoken, and let people know how you feel, and let people know. Make sure that there's no question when you're having a conversation, or when you have the opportunity to speak, that there's no question what your beliefs are and what your testimony is rooted in. And that is a loving Heavenly Father and His Son, Jesus Christ, who died for the sins of all mankind, everybody who has ever lived and everybody who will ever live on this earth. We're so grateful to have been on here, and hopefully we've said something today that impacts maybe just one person. But we're grateful for the gospel in our marriage. It's made our marriage so much stronger. And while we're not perfect at reading the scriptures, we're not perfect at praying together, we're not perfect at anything, and nobody is. We are striving every day, and it is talked about, and it is something we've seen blessings from when we do remember and going to church and partaking of the sacrament and renewing those covenants we made at our baptism and in the temple, and going through hard times together has made us stronger. And I'm grateful for Rylee and, for her putting up with me, a lot of the dumb stuff that I do and say every day. I couldn't ask for a better wife and anyone better to share my life with. And somebody who really understands some of the things I go through, being a fellow athlete and being a fellow member of the church, and other experiences and other things that we share in our lives.
Same with Darius. He's a light in my life every day. I'm going to get emotional talking about it, but he's not only strengthened our marriage, but he's strengthened my testimony. And marriage isn't perfect. Marriage isn't easy, especially when you get married and get thrown in a house to quarantine for 2 months, but it's so worth it. And I'm just thankful for Darius and really excited to be on this show.
Okay, thank you so much, Rylee and Darius, for coming on the show and for sharing your testimonies with us. It was really inspiring, and it's really cool to hear how different collegiate athletes are getting through the COVID season at this time. So we just wanted to start off with a question, and that was, how did you two meet? What is your story? Did you meet through college sports? Story time!
Yeah, so it was basically mutual friends. So I had a teammate at the time who was dating one of her teammates, and it was kind of just your classic love story. I don't know. I was walking and I saw a picture of the team, and I picked Rylee, and I said, she's really cute. And then my friend who was with me gave his girlfriend my number to get to her. And then within like 2 hours, we were texting, and then we went on a date a couple nights later. And then, yeah. So, I mean, it was a very fast process. But yeah, I pretty much saw a picture and I thought she was cute. And then, yeah. So it's actually really funny looking back at it now.
What's your side of it?
What's your side of the story, Rylee?
Yeah, Rylee, you probably want to get more side too.
Yeah, he just saw a picture of our team and he just said, Clark, I think number 2 is really cute. And so I wasn't seeing anybody at the time. I had actually given up because I had been at BYU for 3 years, and I was like, you want to know what? I'm not going to find my husband here. So I had like given up and but I was like, you want to know what? I'll go on a date. So we went on a big group date. And to be honest, I didn't even think he was interested the first date. And then we ended up hanging out again and again and again. And off it went.
Ooh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't sure either. I'd been in like a bunch of flings, but I'd never had like a serious girlfriend at BYU.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't really like expecting any serious relationships anytime soon. But yeah.
It happens,
I guess if you know, you know. So.
Now, almost 2 years later, here we are.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that.
I personally love love stories and how they bring people together. And for our second question, we wanted to ask you, where did you find your drive, like your motivation for what you do, and for what you do right now, but also your motivation helps you to keep going
with college sports, with your schooling, with religion, like where do you get your drive and your energy to keep going?
Well, for me personally, it's a general feeling of, I guess, love. Like, first of all, just loving what I do, like loving sports. I think that was something that was instilled in me from like a young age. And I never felt like my parents forced me to do anything. I played basketball, baseball, football, soccer. I did karate, like I sang. I just was a very active kid. And so I tried everything, and I never felt like I was forced into doing anything. And so I was able to make that choice, and I chose something that I love to do. And now I'm here, chasing dreams of, currently playing college football, and love from my family and for my family. Being a first generation college student is pretty huge. And so having that opportunity to be, one of the first, people in my immediate family to graduate from college is a really big driving force for me, and something that I never realized is so huge. My parents instilled in me from a young age that I really needed to do that and get a degree, and I'm grateful that they have pushed me to do something they were never able to do, and the opportunities that are going to open up for me compared to them is going to be really big. And sorry, my dad's playing fetch with our dog on the couch right now. And I think a love for just the blessings I've seen from sports. Like the whole point of this interview that we're doing right now is how we walk in the light, and the lessons, making the connections from athletics to life is huge for me. And I doing something like this where you actually get to say it out loud, it really helps you realize even more how many lessons I've learned and how I'm able to share the gospel through sports and vice versa. So
I love that. Thank you.
And for me, it's like I am one of the most competitive people like you'll ever meet. And so all growing up, like I hated losing. I hated like people telling me I couldn't do anything. And honestly, I had people like after I committed to play softball at BYU, I had like close family and friends tell me like, you're not going to play, like you're not going to make it. So for me, it's just kind of like partly like just proving them wrong. Like after my freshman year, I had like a breakout season and I wanted to like print out all my stats and put them in their mailboxes, but my parents wouldn't let me. But it's just like there's times that like this is my 5th year here. There's times that I just want to give up, throw in the towel. Like it gets really hard with school and softball and trying to have like a happy marriage and all that. But it's just like the little girl inside of me saying like, you're not a quitter, Rylee. You're not like, there's so many people looking up to you. You're not a quitter. And that just like, honestly, it pushes me every day to get out of bed and to go do my thing,
Yeah.
I love that. I love both of your story, both sides, where you had the encouragement from your parents and your family members, and also your desire just to keep going. I think the desire to keep going every day and the desire not to quit is one of the hugest and the biggest motivations I have seen in my life and life of my parents as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And you tied in your families and some other things that we're going to ask you about later. So that was perfect. But for the next question, we noticed that you talked a lot about standing your ground, standing up for what you believe in. And so we were wondering if there were any particular experiences that you could share with us where you did have to stand your ground and have to stand true to what you believed in.
Yeah, I had one come to mind. So I was I served a mission, and one of the best experiences of my entire life. I think about it every day. And I was prepared every day to wake up and argue with anybody that ever wanted to talk about the gospel, which was not a good approach because I kind of, like her, I'm competitive, and so I like to argue, and got myself into some discussions I shouldn't have been in or should have left a lot earlier than I did. But like we talked about earlier, I never expected, like in my own house, that I would have to stand up for something that I, believed in. And my freshman year, I have a really good friend. I won't say his name, but he is an atheist, or he's agnostic or an atheist, and so he doesn't know, and he's just generally kind of curious about what's out there. And I lived with him, and he lived right across the hall from me, and we had some very choice things to say about the gospel. And I came home one night. I actually told her, I got home from I can't remember where I was. I got home from somewhere, and I told her, hey, I'll come pick you up in a little while and we'll hang out. And I think it was 2 hours later. I
was pissed.
Yeah, she was pretty upset. But we just sat down and we got in a pretty heated debate about some of the principles of the gospel. And he kind of looked at, kind of the general, looked at me, and said, I think you're kind of brainwashed. I think you're kind of, I'm sure you guys get some of that, and missionaries get some of that. You're brainwashed. You haven't ever thought about anything else. You've grown up in this gospel, so you've never considered anything different. And that was an opportunity for me. I just kind of looked at him and I said, don't ever, don't say that I'm brainwashed. Like, I know I have received confirmation from a source like so much bigger than anything you've ever felt, anything I've ever felt. The Spirit of the Lord himself has confirmed to me that this is true. And that's irreplaceable. And so that was one of the very first ones in college that I had. And I'm sure there will be more, but, I never expected walking in the kitchen at night I'd have to, you know, get upset or get a little heated with one of my teammates, like one of my best friends who I thought was very considerate, very open, but that stuck out to me, and I felt really good. I felt really good that I was able to let him know, like, there's bigger forces at play here. You know, there's bigger things than whatever you thought I was thinking. You have the opportunity to feel that if you know, whatever. But that was pretty cool for me to be able to.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, actually, another question. What would you tell people who are trying to feel that, or like trying to get an answer, or trying to feel just like that spirituality, but don't necessarily know exactly how to do that? What would you tell them?
Or feel confused?
I would say be consistent. I think that's the biggest thing. With anything, and you know, connecting again sports with the gospel, one of the biggest things is consistency, and that's what coaches look for. That's what your teammates look for, to be able to trust you. And I think that being consistent, saying your prayers, and doing the little things, and we all know that, but it's not going to come right away. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. Is I think people look for that one big experience, that one big feeling they have of bam, it just hits you in a dream, or it hits you just all at once, and you get that confirmation. But for me, and for a lot of people I've talked to, it's never really happened like that. It's been, you know, days and months and years of being consistent in the gospel, and they get a little feeling here and a little feeling there. You know, and I talk to my friends about me and Riley's relationship. It's kind of the same thing. She asks me all the time, like, what's the moment that you felt you wanted to marry me? And I can't really even pinpoint one, because it was just consistency over a period of time. And I the more I hung out with her, the more I was around her, the more I felt that. And so with the gospel, it's the same for me. And some people might have that, you know, opportunity to get that one big feeling, but for me, it's being consistent and seeing the blessings, seeing the happiness that you feel from being consistent. I think is probably the biggest way to be able to get that feeling overall, but it's going to come a little at a time.
I love that, because it's different for everybody. It's been compared to a light switch and a sunrise. Yeah. And so I love the consistency, because, like, don't give up, because it's different for everybody how you communicate with God, how you receive those answers. So thank you for that. Rylee, did you have any experiences that you had in mind?
Side note, this is our dog, Charlie.
Oh, hey, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
It's cute.
He's massive, but kind of the same thing is mine that comes to mind is with softball as well. Like my freshman year when I came into BYU, I didn't have a strong testimony, and I just I never did the wrong things, but I hung out with the people that were doing the wrong things. And like, there's always some people on our teams that aren't members of the church. And my freshman year, when they would come in, they would, you know, like go to parties, go like do whatever they want. And they didn't realize that, like, we go to BYU, like you signed the honor code, and I didn't do anything about it. And like Darius said, my testimony just slowly grew as I, you know, took religion classes, hung out with the right people, like met Darius, like things just kind of fell into place. And then something happened right at the beginning of this year, and I was able, you know, to stand up for the church and for BYU and say, like, look, this is not right. We don't do this stuff. And kind of just nip it in the bud right when it started to happen, before like it got to the point my freshman year where it was just happening every weekend. And honestly, it was really hard to do, to just stand up and, you know, like just be the odd man out. But I felt so good afterwards. And you can ask Darius, I was so stressed out. Like I was so stressed out what I was going to say, what I was going to do. But I felt like a weight off my shoulders afterwards when, you know, you just say, that's not right. This is not what we do.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I think with that, it's showing the Lord, you know, showing Heavenly Father that you can be trusted. I think is with her, she had the opportunity to stand up and speak and tell some people, and that experience led to another one, leads to another one. So like you said, everyone's different, and we all have different opportunities. But I think we need to pray to be able to recognize those experiences. You know, is this the Lord giving me an opportunity to show him that I can be trusted, show him that I'm somebody that's able to do his work, you know, no matter where I'm put. So
That's a really good thought too. And y'all are on sports, and so you wear your name on your back, you know. And a lot of people compared to the people who follow Jesus Christ as God's team, right?
Yeah.
And it's so cool because anybody's welcome to be on this team. Anybody's welcome to be representatives of Jesus Christ and to live in a way that's honorable, to live in a way that represents him and that name well. And so I love that concept.
Mhm.
I love that as well. Before my mission, I remember being on the plane, I opened up to the scripture in the Book of Mormon, and it talks about how everyone is welcome. Black, white, bond, and free, male and female, no matter who you are or what you've been through, experiences you've had, you are a beloved child of God, and God loves you, and he needs you on his team.
Absolutely.
And Darius, from what Sister Pierce told me, that you have sort of mission Spanish speaking. And there's a lot of Spanish viewers here tonight, and we're wondering if you could share a simple testimony in Spanish, if that's all right.
Oh, man. It's been a while. You should have warned me about that.
Sorry, lo siento.
Being a missionary.
Yeah, let me get myself together here. Let's see. If I can
He
put
prays a
some-
lot in Spanish, so I'm sure he can do it.
Bueno, yo creo que esa es la iglesia verdadera en el mundo. Yo sé que Jesucristo murió para todos que han vivido en este mundo y que todos que van a vivir en el mundo. Y yo sé que José Smith fue un profeta verdadero y que regresaron la iglesia y que el templo es la casa de Dios y que podemos entrar y hacer convenios y podemos hacer promesas con Dios y podemos ser sellados con nuestra familia para siempre. Y que tenemos un profeta verdadero en el mundo hoy también, que Presidente Nelson es el profeta verdadero. Y que las familias, y yo sé que las familias son eternas y yo sé que, bueno, este evangelio es verdadero. Yo comparto eso en nombre de Jesucristo. Amén.
Amén. Muchas gracias.
Y si hay alguien que quiere aprender más, por favor, déjenos saber por medio de la página. Okay, thank you so much. That was awesome. So both of you we know are pretty amazing athletes. And so we were wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what led you to this point in college sports, your childhood, playing sports, high school, the whole process. Just some fun stories, just kind of some background to your sports careers.
So we actually played against each other when we were little, playing baseball.
What?
Yeah. And Darius's dad is the one that was like, when I said, oh, I played baseball until my freshman year of high school, Darius's dad was like, oh my gosh, I remember you. I remember there being a girl on the team and her being a lefty and all this. And then we actually like pulled
I struck her out.
No. But we like actually like pulled up pictures and I was like, I remember this kid. Like when we put 2 and 2 together, like it was actually pretty mind blowing.
Yeah, it was funny. I joke that I struck her out, but she was actually really good. I think that's what she performed.
How old were you, real quick, when that happened?
It was probably like age 8 to like age 12 or 14.
Wow.
All through Little League baseball.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned before, I played every single sport growing up. I was just active. My dad coached me through all the way to high school. That was pretty tough for him to have to stop, when I hit high school, stop coaching me. But I promised him he can help coach the grandkids one day. But for me, it's just been active. It's just been playing sports all the time. I've had the opportunity to travel all around the country. I've had coaches who are amazing people, and it was always just, it's really all I knew. It was just sports, and you go to school, you go to practice, you go home, and traveling all over the country. I'm sure Riley's the same way. And I hit high school, and I played, 3 sports, and then baseball, basketball, football, and then I eventually narrowed it down to 2, basketball and football. And I actually loved basketball more. I think it was basketball's probably my favorite sport. I wasn't as good at it, but and then I played football, and around my junior year, I started getting calls and sending my recruiting tape out, and started, doing those steps to get recruited, and eventually I got a call from, calls from multiple schools, and BYU was the one I ended up choosing and signing with, and left my mission and came back, and now I'm here. So I think just being active, always playing sports, got me here. And the opportunities that open, and people you meet, they help set you up, and I was blessed to be able to meet people all along the way through that process, from starting playing basketball and baseball at 4 years old to being now 23 and playing college sports.
Cool. Thank you so much.
For me, it was kind of just, I loved basketball and baseball. Like, that was all my sports. And in Idaho, softball's kind of getting bigger now there, but when I was little, it wasn't big at all. And so I just always, starting from t-ball, I just played with the boys, and we ended up actually my parents realized that I was actually kind of good, and so I got on a travel team, and that's when we started playing against each other. And I played basketball with the boys, and we just kind of did everything together. And then when I was 12, I think I switched to basketball with the girls, but I kept playing baseball with the boys. And kind of the same, growing up, basketball was my favorite. I would go to all the BYU basketball camps, never the softball camps. But then when I switched to softball, I started getting, college looks. In basketball, they kind of recruit later, but I actually committed to BYU after my freshman year of high school. So I was locked in from that point, and I just kept playing softball, kept trying to get better. And so, yeah, that's just, softball kind of just guided me to where I am today. And like Darius said, I got to go so many cool places, meet so many cool people that I still keep in touch with today. And I still have them on my side just rooting for me. And it's pretty cool because all these schools that we play, most of them I know somebody on because I've played with them or played against them. And it's just cool to be able to use that just to create lifelong friendships and lifelong relationships that I'll be forever thankful for.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
That is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. Actually, earlier we were looking at different videos, and Amanda was very happy to see softball once again because
I did. I used to play softball too, so
she was very
I loved
happy.
it. Yes, softball's such a good sport. Any sport in general, I feel like it just is a really good way to teach you good morals, to teach you good work ethic, things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that kind of leads us into the next question. How has COVID affected your sports season in general?
Oh, don't even get me going.
And
So COVID kind of started, and we were just it was right in the middle of our season, because our season goes from February to June usually.
Oh,
It started getting big right in the middle of our season, and me, my competitive self, our team was doing pretty good. I was on track to be an All-American, and then we were in Alabama getting ready to play Alabama. And all of a sudden, coach calls an emergency meeting, and next thing you know, we were on the next flight out, and our season was canceled. And at that point, they hadn't told us oh, you're going to get your season back. Oh, for me and the other senior on my team, it was just you guys are done. It's just taken away from you. And so that day will forever be ingrained in my mind, because just like that, it was taken away from me. And so for that reason, I hate COVID. Just because, like I thought everything was going to be taken away from me, but it's kind of just been like a blessing in disguise because like we were able to get our dog, like we were able to strengthen our marriage, like move to a better apartment, kind of just like, it was just the biggest blessing in disguise because it makes you realize like you never know what you have until it's like taken away from you. And I just had to take a step back and realize that and realize like what's really important to me, like family and, just building those relationships.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we're currently in season. And so at the time, within the last few months, we had we had one of the toughest schedules in, our program's history lined up, and it was completely wiped away. And so we just were like, we didn't know what was going to happen. We had no idea. And luckily we were able to get a full schedule together. And so we have, 12 games, and we got a couple of the original games back as, conferences start to play and stuff. But so we're very blessed to be playing right now. A lot of people aren't, and a lot of people are starting late, and we're, 5 games in now. But like she said, it was crazy. We got married, and then we were in this routine. We had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to hang out, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, she's gone. And, it was just this routine, and we had meals planned. Like it was like second by second, we had it planned out, and then all of a sudden it was just gone. And it was really hard to adjust. And, as much as I love Rylee and being quarantined in a 1-bedroom apartment together every single day for 2 months is not the ideal start to a marriage, I think. It was very challenging to adjust to that because we were both so, I don't want to say robotic, but it was just a routine, and we were just in that. No questions asked, do this, do that, and that's your day. And so, like she said, I think a beautiful thing in the gospel is being able to adapt. I think it's a living church, and we're always receiving new revelation, and we're always receiving new guidance, new counsel. And I think we can apply that in our personal lives. We need to be able to adapt and change, and always be ready to make the best of any situation. And I think we've done a pretty good job, and we're looking forward to continuing to adapt and change to the circumstances of the world. But yeah, it was very tough, and it still continues to be. So many questions to be answered, but in general, it affected it a lot. But it still is, and we have great people around us who are helping us to deal with it and making sure we get our opportunities to play and compete and get better every day. So
Exactly. I love that both of you brought up the good, positive things, even though it was really, really hard for both of you. As a newlywed married couple, as your sports seasons were going, your schedule, everything, but there's still a positive light in that. There's still, with the gospel, there's always something good to look forward to. And that's why it's so comforting, and that's why it's so important and essential as we're learning through this lifetime to be able to see those good things. We're really grateful for both of you for being here on the show with us tonight. To wrap it up, we're just going to hear a closing musical number from Elder Porter and Elder Newmaker, both serving as missionaries in the Massachusetts Boston Mission. And then we will go on to the closing prayer from Elder Gardner.
Write thy name upon my heart, Jesus, Savior of mankind. Teach me charity unfailing, teach me compassion, Lord, like thou. Endow my soul with loving kindness. Make me even engrave thine image in my countenance. Write thy name upon my heart. When battles rage, when storms arise, make me a messenger of peace. Teach me tolerance and meekness, and faith to bid the tempest cease. Endow my soul with loving kindness. Make me even as thou art. Engrave thine image in my countenance. Write thy name upon my heart. Grant me strength to serve thee well. Light my spirit with thy grace, till all my works reflect thy goodness, till all my labors sing thy praise. Endow my soul with loving kindness. Make me even as thou art. Engrave thine image in my countenance. Write thy name upon my heart.
Nuestro amoroso Padre Celestial, te damos muchísimas gracias, Padre, por todas las bendiciones que hemos recibido de ti y por esta gran oportunidad de escuchar las palabras de Darius y Rylee McFarland. Padre, por este tiempo que tenemos aquí, las cosas que aprendimos, Padre, por favor, bendícenos, que podamos seguir adelante y esforzarnos cada día. Padre, bendice a Rylee y Darius, que puedan sentir de tu amor y que puedan andar bien. Te amamos muchísimo, Padre, y te agradecemos otra vez por esta gran oportunidad. Ayúdanos a aplicar estas cosas que hemos aprendido en nuestras vidas. Y decimos estas cosas, Padre, en el nombre de Jesucristo. Amén.
Thank you so much, Darius and Rylee, for coming out tonight, and for everyone that was able to watch. Thank you so much.
And if there's anybody watching who would love to learn a little bit more about Jesus Christ or just feel a little bit of upliftment through this time, please reach out to us through this page and tune in next week. We're going to have a great speaker next week. So we hope you all have a great night. And is there anything else that Darius and Rylee would like to share? Would you two like to share anything else?
Thank you guys for having us on. It was super fun to talk and chat with two sisters that are serving the Lord.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for thinking of us. I'm, Sister Bear, our families are, pretty close, and it's great to see you and meet, Sister Whitmer, and we're grateful. We're grateful anytime we get the opportunity to share our life stories and let people know, do missionary work any way possible. And so the opportunity to do it now through technology with everything going on in the world is amazing. So we're grateful to be here.
Church is true. Church is
true.
Yeah, es verdadera.
Sí, claro que sí. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks, Darius and Rylee. Y'all are the best. Okay, bye.